Therefore his paths are straight, and his course is one eternal round. Remember that it is not the work of God that is frustrated, but the work of men.
You know, this is actually really inspiring because, there was, we'll talk about here shortly, why this really was such a significant mess up, faux pas, if you will, that Martin and Joseph got entangled in here. But for us today, like, why does this matter? There's a lot of times we screw up and we do things that we shouldn't do. And we start to think, especially those of us who maybe have received like a patriarchal blessing or something. You've been promised all these blessings, and then you start to screw up and you think, man, are those ever going to be fulfilled? And then as you get back on the path, like as you get back on the righteous side and start following the Lord, you start to look back and say, it is true. Like his promises are fulfilled. Like his ways do not go unanswered or unresponded to. Like you do what is right. Does that mean that your blessings could have been received differently? That your life would have been different had you chosen to stay on the path? Absolutely. Like if you stay on the path and if you stay righteous, the outcomes are going to be different. That being said, if you fall off the path, but then get back on and live righteously, those blessings and those promises will be fulfilled, perhaps in a way that's a little bit different than what could have been, but regardless, the Lord's ways are not frustrated, and he will fulfill his promises.
So we're talking about the eternal round here. The course of the Lord. His course is one eternal round. So the eternal round is, you could say, is an alternate way of explaining the plan of salvation. We typically, teach the plan of salvation from like a first person perspective. So we talk about, it's all about I, me. Okay. We're worried about our own salvation. So we look at the plan of salvation from our perspective. Okay. Makes sense. That's how we teach it to people. That's how we think about it. Cause we're just trying to, endure to the end, and that's fine, right? That's like, we should be focused on that. Okay. That's good. But the eternal round is kind of you could say it's more of a higher vision. It's the way that God views the plan of salvation. So as opposed to being like a start to finish workflow, like a linear path that we take from spirit world to celestial kingdom, it's like, no, the eternal round, the plan of salvation is a system. It's an eternal system. It's a universal system that exists and is set up that is designed to organize intelligence into man and then build up man from, telestial fallen man to celestial beings and, into and onto eternal progression. It's a system and a cycle that repeats. Okay. It's cyclical. And when we're talking about systems, you're talking about processes. You're talking about patterns. So when we talk about the eternal round and that the Lord's ways cannot be frustrated, that's because the Lord works on systems and patterns. And the way that the Lord works is primarily through institutionalized priesthood.
Hit that like button, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it.
They may seem like little things, but liking, commenting, it helps the algorithm push our content out to more people. So it's our small way of sharing the gospel in a social media age.